I guess, like, when I was at school, I wouldn't have dreamt of coming out because I didn't know anyone that was gay at my school at all. And, you know, when it was talked about gayness at school, it was just awful. You know, it wasn't nice. It was just bullying. They'd take the piss. They'd call people dirty dykes, lesbo. It wasn't nice at all. And I didn't want to, obviously, say that I was one because I knew I would just be bullied from then on. And I did all right at school, and I had friends at school, and I didn't want to jeopardise that. There was no one on TV, really. Later on there was the Brookside thing, but other than that, there was nothing. And that was just a kiss, that was it. So it wasn't a big deal. So every book that you read, everything you watched on TV, everything you read in the newspaper said that it was wrong to be gay. So if you're surrounded by lots of people who think one way and you think completely the opposite, then the thing to do is just try and think the opposite way, because obviously, you know, I'll be honest, if I had the choice, I wouldn't be gay, if I'm honest, because I don't think... I'm glad that I'm gay and I'm happy who I am, because I am that and I accept who I am. But if I was born and they said you can have the choice, then I would be straight, because it's so much easier. Such a much easier ride. But I would never say now that I was straight, because I'm not. And I think you have to be true to yourself. So I am true to myself, but I can see why people do hide, because it's just so much easier if you can live with it. But I think it's very hard to live with pretending to be something you're not. But yeah, when I was at school, I think it would have been difficult. Maybe if I was at school now, I could have done it. I could have come out, I think, because I don't think I would have got so much trouble. I think I would have still got some trouble, of course, but I don't think I would have got so much trouble as I would have then. Because when I was at school, it was like the 80s, so it wouldn't have been good. And I left school in 91, so it's a long time ago, really. Of course, when I was at school, I didn't have the internet, so there was no way to look up things like that. And it wouldn't be in the Yellow Pages. So if like someone's at school now and they're like 14 and they live somewhere quite backward, like Texas, for example, and they don't know anyone who's gay and they're scared to be gay because they'll get beaten up, they can go on the internet and they can talk to someone in England or wherever, where it's freer, and have a chat with them. Whereas then they couldn't. And they can see that it is okay to be gay, and maybe one day they can move somewhere where they're not going to be in trouble, and they can see where they can get help just from a push of a button, and no one's going to see that. Whereas years ago, there wasn't the internet, so you couldn't do that. So you were totally isolated. So I'm not a big fan of the internet, to be honest, but I think in terms of LGBT stuff, it's brilliant because it stops isolation.